curve based on the fly trade at the 5s. And that is how you make some big decisions, guys. We've been selling into this, and I said to Reeve this morning that the reason why we print the SOFR levels and the LIBOR levels is because if we can get through this, it's going to cause an asymmetrical hedge response. Guess what happened? Got an asymmetrical hedge response to the trade. You can't make it up, guys. This was a conversation we had before it all took place. And again, people wonder, is this a place that is worthwhile? Is this a place that you can learn real stuff where the truth was revealed to everybody? There's a great quote I've been quoting from the book that I've been reading called Green Light. It's about truth. And it's given me the awareness to receive it. So a lot of people, when they start trading and they listen, but they hear, but they don't listen. I think it's probably the best way to put that. They listen, but they don't hear, or they hear, but they don't listen, whatever way you want to think about it. It's just a noise. So when I'm talking, they think, yeah, what's the trade I'm in anyway? So yeah, I'll look at that at some other stage. So you've got to have the awareness to receive it, the presence to personalize it. Why is that important? Because it's my line at this stage. I'm telling you about my line. I'm telling you about my reality on the right-hand edge. I'm telling you about what I'm seeing. It's not your reality. You're just learning at this stage, so it can't be your reality. So you've got to have the ability to recognize it for yourself, the awareness to take in that information, and then the presence to personalize it to you yourself. The next line is something along the lines of the patience to preserve it. In other words, it doesn't necessarily work the first time you look at it. It doesn't necessarily show up as a trade the first time you see it. It doesn't necessarily give you big divergences. But you've got to have the patience to watch these things over time to make it habits. I heard Kim talking about it, and it's a book I still haven't read, but I've heard Kim talking again about atomic habits. You've got to have patience about habits. It doesn't become a habit in one day. Looking at LIBOR, looking at SOFR, for example, looking at absolutes, looking at these ideas, it doesn't become that habit in one single day, guys. It becomes a habit over time. You've got to have the patience to preserve the knowledge long enough to make it a habit. And the final line, which I really like from this, is the courage to live it. And I think that's an incredibly powerful line. You know about the idea, you know about the idea of value, you know about what it's doing, you've preserved it for long enough, you've made it your own to personalize it, you can recognize that you've personalized it, you've had patience to preserve it. It's all very good if you're going to write a book. It's not so good if you're going to try and make money. You've got to have the courage to now live it the way perhaps Joe's doing with the crack spread, for example, the way perhaps Sam's doing with these soybeans, the way perhaps Paul's doing with whatever, and etc., etc. You've got to have the courage to now use the information that you've personalized, that you've persevered with, that you've had patience to watch and develop over time, and you've got to become the owner of that line. It's not my line anymore. It's not my line anymore. Something that you can use to make money, guys. Pretty good stuff, isn't it? Because that's resulted in the patience. That's resulted in the patience to wait this trade out, eventually resulting in a sell from 22s that just traded 17s for 1,000 plus change. 1,000 plus change, guys. That's a pretty good outcome, isn't it? You've got to live this process, haven't you? You've got to be watching this process evolving over time. It's not about just simply seeing a line, copying it, never living it, never taking it, never personalizing it. You've got to personalize it. That's why we don't give lines out. That's why we talk about the line. We don't give lines out. What's that line? Well, build it and see what the line is. Build it. Think about it. What do you think it is? Don't ask me until you've tried answering it first. What do you think the five fly is? There's no point in me telling you what the five fly is. Build it, try it, see what you think. See if you can try and figure out what it is. That's how you progress. Because guess what happens? You're not just receiving it. You're not just being given it. You're personalizing it. You're building out the line. You're taking ownership of that line. You're taking ownership of that truth. And that's one of the things that we start to understand about the markets, is that if you're not taking the truth, it'll never be yours. If you're not looking at the market as the truth, if you've all seen it, you've all been in classes where you've been along to some guru or another and you sit there thinking, this guy's an absolute arsehole. Perhaps that's happened in this class when you've been listening to me, but the point is, you're still here. So you must have seen this as the market truth. If you don't see it as a market truth, then obviously it's never becoming a truth. You never personalize it, you never make it your own. And that's what we're doing in this classroom, is we're making it personal to you. And you've got to then have the courage to live it. You've got to have the courage to then say, this is my trade. This is the one that I'm going to make my own. This is the one that I'm going to make my fortune on. I'm going to become a specialist in this trade here. So well done, guys. It's taken a long time. It has been a bore trade. But if every bore trade makes $1,000, you know what? Count me in.